Hi, friends. Yesterday, we started thinking about the issue of judging others. And Jesus' teaching in Matthew 7, where he says, "Do not judge so that you may not be judged." And why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? This issue of judging others is important for us to address, not only for the sake of our interpersonal relationships, but also for the sake of the vitality and witness and growth of the church. Any survey about why people do not go to church, and any research about why people leave church, will cite one of the primary reasons is that people in church are perceived to be judgmental and hypocritical. Christians are perceived to be quick to pass judgment on those who don't live up to our expectations and slow to recognize our own inability to do so. It's a similar situation to one that Jesus recognized in his day. Judging others had become a significant religious problem for the scribes and the Pharisees. They were critical of and quick to pass judgment on anyone who failed to live up to their religious standards and expectations. For example, when Jesus was in the house of Simon the Pharisee and a sinful woman anointed Jesus' feet, Simon said, "If this man, Jesus, were a prophet, he would know who and what kind of woman this is who is touching him, that she is a sinner. Unlike me, is understood." The Pharisees, in their self-righteous arrogance, had created a special class of people called sinners, and they did not include themselves in that number. The Pharisees were self-righteous and overly critical, searching for faults and suspecting the worst. That's the kind of judgment that Jesus speaks against. Jesus is not saying that we should never assess people with some discrimination or never form an opinion, but rather that we should not have a harsh, judgmental spirit. The mindset that drives this type of overly critical, judgmental attitude is a belief that we can know as God knows. We may not consciously think that, but when we set ourselves up as judge, we set ourselves up as God. And that's a problem. It's a problem that Jesus wanted to eliminate. Now think about what it means for a magistrate to make a judgment in a courtroom. It means that the judge has heard enough evidence or information to determine a person's legal standing and to decide the best course of action that is consistent with and upholds the law. A judge cannot make a proper, honorable, trustworthy judgment without all the facts. Jesus knew that we rarely possess sufficient evidence or all of the necessary information to draw accurate conclusions about one another, especially when it pertains to another person's character. John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, told of a man that he had little respect for because he considered him to be miserly and covetous. And one day, when this man contributed only a small amount to a worthy charity, Wesley openly criticized him. After the incident, the man went to Wesley privately and told him that he had been living on parsnips and water for several weeks. He explained that before his conversion, he had run up many bills, and now, by skimping on everything and buying nothing for himself, he was paying off his creditors one by one. "Christ has made me an honest man," he said, "and so with all these debts to pay, I can only give a few offerings above my tithe. I must settle up with my worldly neighbors and show them what the grace of God can do in a heart of a man who was once dishonest." Wesley apologized to the man and asked for his forgiveness, recognizing that he was not God and he could not know as God knows. You and I cannot know everything in another person's heart or life, and that alone should curb us from fault finding. But in case we need another reason, we should also take note of that log in our own eye. And we'll think more about that tomorrow. Thanks for listening. I'll see you then.